Today I'm going to show you how to put any sticker or decal onto your object. Let's first start out with a basic cube, and with the cube selected, go into the texture paint mode. Over here on the left side we will see the UV map of the object, and on the right side we can actually paint on the object. Right now our cube doesn't have any material we can paint on, so therefore we have to go into these texture slot settings over here and click on the plus button. In this case we will create a simple base color, and I will up the resolution to 2000 by 2000 just to have a little bit more details in it. The color I will leave white and I just press add. If you would select the color over here, you could already start painting on the object. But how do we load the stickers and decals into it? Therefore, we go to the right side and scroll down to texture. In the texture settings, we need to press new to create a new texture and click this button all the way to the right side to show the texture in the texture tab. This will bring us to the texture settings, and now we can open up the folder where all our stickers and textures are. Let's say we want to add the explosion sticker right here. Make sure it is a PNG and open it. To actually paint the explosion now, we have to go back into the tool settings and scroll down to the texture. Under mapping, we will change it from view plane to stencil. As you can see, a stencil appears at the bottom left, and with right click we can move it around, with shift right click we can scale it, and also with control right click we could rotate it. So all you have to do now is rotate this sticker and the object how you want. And if you're happy with the placement, make sure the left color right here is white and paint over the object. After you have painted over your whole image, you can see the texture is already on the object. To confirm it, we can already see it on the UV map on the left side right here. The cool thing is you can also move the stencil on the UV map and even paint it on here. So if you paint the sticker on the UV map, you can see it will also appear on the object right here. Sometimes it is better to paint it on the object itself, and sometimes it is easier to paint it on the UV map depending on your object. You just have to try it out what looks better for you. But let's say we want to load in a brush that isn't a PNG. So it's just a white brush on a black background. If you would paint it right now, you can see the black thing in the background will also get painted on it, and this doesn't look really realistic. Therefore, in the tool setting, we can delete the texture right here and go into the texture mask settings. Also click new and press the button on the right side right here to open the texture settings and load in the same brush again. In the tool settings, we also have to change it from view plane to stencil. If you have a texture mask, you can't move the stencil with just right click. You have to press Alt and right click to move it around. Also, if you want to scale it down, you have to press Alt Shift and right click. And to rotate it, you have to press Alt Control and right click. If you're happy with the placement, you could also switch the color, let's say to a blue one, and just paint over it. This time, as you can see, only the white part got painted on the object. This is the cool thing about the texture mask. This will only consider the white part and the black part will be deleted out. With this you can paint super easy decals, some dirt, some grunges all over your object to make it look more realistic. Alright, let's say you don't have a simple cube with a white texture, but instead you have a more complex object, something like this, that has already a base color. Luckily for us, this isn't really a problem. If we go into the texture paint mode and open up the materials tab right here, we can see we have the base color, the metallic color, and the normal map. And on each of these maps we can just paint over it. Simply select the map you want to paint over. Again, in the texture settings, add in a new one and load in the sticker that you want. Make sure in the tool settings the mapping is set to stencil, and after that just place the stencil where you want to have it, paint over it, and voila, the sticker is already placed on the object. But maybe you can see it already, the texture looks a little bit weird and a little bit distorted because we painted it flat on a curved object, and this will distort the image a little bit. Therefore, it's better this time to just paint it in the UV map over here, because this will consider the curve of the object. And as we can see, this sticker right here looks way more that it belongs on the object and is also curved exactly onto the object. But maybe right now for your taste the corners are a little bit too sharp and it doesn't look that realistic because it is super clean. To roughen up the edges a bit, we can combine the texture and the texture mask. So let's open up the texture mask and load in this brush decal right here. This time the mapping shouldn't be set to stencil, but rather to view plane. Right now you should see the sticker of the texture, but you paint with the brush. So if you up the radius of the brush to something like this and just tap one time, so you can see the explosion sticker gets painted onto the object, but with the texture mask of the brush. With that you can just play around, maybe click a few times onto your object, and the texture looks way more realistic on the edges because it's a little bit worn out and a little bit roughened up. So yeah, there you have it. You can now populate your object with different type of stickers, graffiti or some decals to make it look way more interesting, complex and more realistic. I hope you could learn something today in this video. If you have some questions, just write them in the comments, or otherwise I will see you in another tutorial of mine. Have a good day. Peace out.